Visit tcgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit TCG Castle for more.
Hey guys, welcome to Rogue Deck Building channel. I just recently renamed my old channel to the new one, and I'm gonna be focused more on the Rogue meta, so I hope you guys gonna like that. The first video that I'm publishing on the new name channel, it's gonna be Tauros GX Shedinja deck. It is gonna be a very interesting deck list, as you can see in front of you. So what's so special about Tauros? Definitely a Raging Herd attack for the single double Colorless energy. Tauros can hit for 10 plus 10 more damage counters for each damage counter on all of your Tauros and Tauros-GXs in play. In early stage of the game, this might sound like weak attack, mainly because we're not gonna have damage counters in our Tauros in play. So for maybe 2 or 3 turns, if our opponent won't be able to one-hit knock out our Tauros-GX or Tauros, then we will have actually a good chance to hit for a lot of damage. But for the early stage of the game, we have a Shedinja with the Vessel of Life that can actually help us in that early stage of the game when we're gonna lose some of the Pokemons by our opponent fast attacks like Zapdos and other Pokemons that can hit for a lot of damage in just a single turn for 1 energy card. Good thing about Tauros is that he actually have 130 HP, meaning that our opponent will need, for example, with Zapdos, 2 Electro Powers just for the one-hit knockout against Tauros, which is very bad for them. Otherwise, we also have Tauros-GX that can hit for the Rage. Theoretically, if our opponent cannot one-hit knock out Tauros-GX, and if we have, let's say, 5 damage counters on Tauros-GX, then we can hit with the Rage for like 70. Horde attack for just a single double Colorless energy in early stage can be for 60 up to 90 with the Choice Band. Mad Bull is also very powerful GX that can one-hit knock out pretty much anything as long as Tauros has enough damage counters on it. So let's say we have 7 damage counters on Tauros and Choice Band, we can hit for 240 and one-hit knockout, for example, Pikazekrom GX. What else we have on this deck list? For example, 1 copy of Marshadow-GX that can simply simplifies our life by using that Shadow Hunting with just a single double Colorless energy. We can either way copy one of those Tauros-GX attacks or maybe just a regular Tauros attack, and the good thing about that is the fact that we can simply one-hit knock out much more easier Zoroarks and those Pikazekroms. I decided also to take Dark Ambition Absol in this build, as well as 2 copies of Nincada and 2 Shedinja with the Vessel of Life, so we can actually maybe trade 0 prize for prize, or maybe 1 prize with Tauros-GX, 1 Blitzle and 1 Zebstrika with the Sprint, and then there's also Marshadow and Tapu Lele-GX. A lot of different Pokemons on this deck list, but I think the most important thing is this Shedinja with Vessel of Life. It is such a nice card, and a lot of people actually don't play Field Blower, and because of that we can actually maybe surprise our opponents with Shedinja attached to Tauros, attacking and taking knockouts and just forcing our opponent to take 1 prize less, which is just mind-blowing thing. But even if our opponent managed to knock Tauros-GX and if he only takes 1 prize, we already made a huge success. Moving on to the item cards, there's not too many item cards in this build, just 4 copies of Ultra Ball and 4 copies of Ball for quick possible setup at turn 1. For us, the most important thing is to set up 2 or 3 Tauros-GX with Shrine of Punishment, so we can actually start adding some damage to Tauros-GX, so that Raging Herd can be much more stronger and powerful. If we start first, then we definitely want to have 1 Shrine and 3 Tauros-GX in play with potentially Rainbow Energy attached, and then turn 2 that damage can be actually multiplied by 2. maybe even by significantly more if our opponent can actually deal some damage to our Tauros. 1 copy of Pal Pad so we can recover some of the supporter cards, 2 copies of Rescue Stretchers, 4 copies of Shrine of Punishments, and 3 copies of Choice Band. Well, why Shrine of Punishment? Somebody's gonna ask. Well, Shrine of Punishment is the good and quick way to get some damage on our Tauros-GX, so we can simply start attacking with our Raging Herd for even more damage. I mean, this is not top competitive deck, that's for sure, but still, it can be a rogue deck that can simply take advantage against some of the most popular decks in the standard format. But then again, with Shedinja that I mentioned earlier, we don't need to worry too much about Shrine of Punishment. Even if we knock our Tauros out, we can again trade only 1 prize instead of the 2 prize cards. 3 choice bands that can also be added for extra damage, and then for the draw support I'm running 10 draw supporters, 4 Cynthias, 4 Lilies, and 2 copies of Judge. Judge can also be very useful here because we also want to disrupt our opponent if it's somehow possible, because with the sprint we can take always extra draw support, 4 copies of Guzma, 10 energies, 4 copies of Rainbow that can also increase the damage by 10 when we attach Rainbow Energy either way to Tauros or Tauros-GX, 4 copies of double Colorless energies, and 2 Counter Energy cards in case if we are on the more price cards left than our opponent, then we can also use Counter Energy and attack with our baby Tauros for extra damage. And overall, this is the deck list that I'm gonna use in today's video. I really like this deck list. I mean, it has a lot of potential. It is a very powerful and it is a very funny deck for the current meta. So make sure to hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos if you already didn't. So see you in the game. Alright, so while I'm waiting my opponent for the setup, I guess I can say a couple more things about a Tauros. Very powerful raging Pokemon with a lot of potential. I wish there's a tool card that can actually increase the HP to basic Pokemon, something like Fighting Fury Belt. That would be amazing in my opinion, but unfortunately it is not. I think I'm gonna start with just baby Tauros, and then I'm gonna bench down Tauros-GX, and probably I'm gonna even consider attaching that Rainbow Energy to him, just because I can maybe increase the damage for the Mad Bull GX. Just in case if you don't know, for a single damage counter on Tauros, you can hit for 30 with the Mad Bull GX. So if Tauros has 6 damage counters, that's already 180. So with 7 damage counters in Choice Band, Mad Bull GX can one-hit knockout, for example, opponent, Rampa GX, damn it. For example, 7 damage counters in the Choice Band can one-hit knockout something like Zekrom GX, which is a very popular card at this moment in current standard format. So, Rampa will actually provide some problems here, from here to there. I mean, definitely, because for 1 energy my opponent can actually discard special energy from my active Pokemon, and since I'm only playing special energy cards, this can be a little bit tricky. However, I'm gonna attach Rainbow Energy to bench at Tauros and hope to pull Shrine of Punishment. So there's a Sableye with a Sable. Alright. Yeah, really interesting. No doubt about that. And there's also the Ansi, so with a couple things my opponent can actually attack with his possible for the one-hit knockout against my Tauros just because of the weakness, and there we go. There is that beast energy that I'm actually very scared about, because right now his base damage is already like 80 times 2, 160, which is just complete disaster for me. However, we're gonna go with Rainbow Energy attachment and 1 Lillie for 4. And this is gonna be Blitzle, Ultra Ball for something like this. I need Nincada so badly, there is no doubt about that. think that this turn will end actually right now straight away. I mean, I can also play Pal Pad as well, why not? Alright, that's it for now. I guess I'm gonna be forced to discard another Rescue Stretcher next turn for Zebstrika and then probably Judge down to 4, which is actually quite bad. Maybe it won't be that bad. That Boswell is actually big threat, but at least... yeah, if he knocks my Tauros with that Boswell, I'm not gonna have respawn, which might be very bad. However, also Drampa is a bad thing for me, so... both Drampa and Boswell actually making some problems there. There's a Ultra Ball, which might be for Tapu Lele, and then straight away for Guzma into my Tauros. But if he do that, he will be short for like 10, so that can be potentially a bad play for my opponent, just because I can hit him hard with a Rage then. So it is Tapu Lele, but the question still remains, will it be for the Guzma? He can still gamble with the Rangru, trying to find maybe a Choice Band or something like... yeah, actually Choice Band Guzma can work perfect here in this case. There is a Guzma. So he's hitting for 160, so 10 damage short. If there's a Shrine, that would be a perfect play for my opponents. Still, he can take a price card, potentially knocking the Blitzy and spreading some damage, something like Nincada. No, he decided to go straight away for the Tauros, so the question still remains, can he pull that Choice Band so he can activate even more damage here? We shall see. Actually hope he can. So there's a energy card and Jet Punch for 160, so Tauros barely surviving here, which is just insane. Another Tauros is a top deck, which I actually don't need right now, but actually I'm not sure if I want to risk, so I'm going to Ultra Ball into Zebstrika, and then I'm gonna Judge, and then I'm gonna play my Sprint. So this is the play for now. Alright, it didn't end the best. Still I have that Marshadow let loose, and then still a Sprint. Still I'm trying to get energy as well as, well, I have energy card. And if I want to knock my opponent with the Rage, I can do that. I can go for 190. Okay, so I'm hitting for 190, so that's perfectly fine. I'm knocking out this Boswell GX, I'm taking 2 price cards. I'm taking advantage in this game, which is a very important thing. Still I have Shrine of Punishment, which I can activate. But probably not for now. Next turn I have Nazball available, which is a good way to go. And I'm just, yeah, right now, I'm gonna need that Shedinja, so I can simply attach it somewhere. If this Boswell hits the ground, you know, he can simply knock both Towers and Nincada out, and that will be such a devastating play for me. But luckily there's a energy for the Drampa, and this is gonna be knockout against my Tauros, and there is a second Rangru on my opponent bench. That's really interesting. So he pulled second Rangru on the bench. And the Cynthia. Alright, so in this matchup, Absol is just useless. It's completely useless. But Shrine of Punishment will actually do some damage there. From here to there. Radius edge for the knockout. And right now, I actually think that I'm gonna promote my GX Towers in the front. I don't know why, but I think it's a good idea. Oh my gosh. Well, that looks bad. We're gonna go for something like this. Rainbow Energy, yes, for sure. And one sprint. However, I'm losing 2 shrines, which actually hurts me a little bit. I can play Guzma for a moment if I want, and I'm thinking about doing that. Technically, he can just hit for 100, so maybe it's not that bad. Do I really want to do that? That is a good thing. That is a good question. So we're both equal with the price cards right now. I think I'm gonna probably just catch his Tapu Lele and pass my turn for now and see what he can do. Because next turn I can actually start doing some damage with my Raging Herd. And this is the game plan for now. I do have that double course energy attached, so he also pulled a Choice Band. So right now, actually, with the Choice Band, he's hitting for like 60, 160 once again. And since the Shrine is in play, if he can Guzma my Tauros-GX, that Tauros will be knocked out. So there is a switch, actually. And he's hitting for 120, so that is actually not enough for the one-hit knockout. Once again, this Bus will having such a hard time here. So he can go for like 100. And I might be able to knock him out if I can find myself a Choice Band. So I'm having luck here, just because... Okay, so at least he knocked down my Nincada, so that's something, right? 110, 120, 130. So for how much I can hit here, let's see, 110, 130, 140, 150, 160, 190, exactly. So let's go with the Cynthia and see if we can find that Choice Band. There it is. There's a Choice Band, so still I can grab a Netball, and in this situation, I'm thinking about definitely putting that Nincada in play. And I don't need to sprint. No need to do that. Just 170, taking 2 more prize cards. There's a Rainbow Energy and Cynthia, and actually this is probably gonna be it, because I can probably win the game with my Marshadow. Let's just wait for a moment. I mean, since I have Guzma, I can go for 120 next turn with my Tauros, with the Mad Bull GX. And hitting for 120 will be enough for knockout against Tapu Lele, because Tapu Lele will take 2 more damage counters in between turns. And meanwhile, I can even get another maybe Choice Band, so I can just knock him out with a single shot. But let's just wait for a moment and see what's gonna happen next. There's a lot of possibilities and a lot of outcomes that can possibly happen. And there is another Boswell, unfortunately, outside of the B string play. I have a couple things on my mind. The first one, an obvious one, is just to promote Nincada in the front and maybe trying to get that Shedinja in play. The second one is just to go straight away with the Guzma for that Tapu Lele, putting double course energy on my Tauros and just sprinting for the Choice Band and for the win. Which is probably the best possible outcome here. However, since this Tauros also has 100 damage counters on it, and since my opponent does not have option to go for the one-hit knockout with his Drampa at this moment against that Tauros, who knows, maybe I can just, you know, play Guzma straight away on that Tapu Lele on the bench with my second Tauros that is benched, and then I can just Raging hurt him for like 100, and in that case it will be 120. Oh no, there's a switch, so he will have enough for the knockout. And we are both going to be equal with the prize card, so he just don't need to put 3 damage counters on the Tauros-GX because then the game will be over. Alright, I guess I'm just forced here to go for the knockout versus that Tapu Lele, otherwise the game is over. Personally, I wouldn't expect so many switch cards in this deck, but my opponent actually surprising me here by playing 2 switch cards. And there is a oh, you gotta be kidding me, 2 counter catchers, seriously, for Zebstrika. And this is still not enough, unfortunately, so he's just hitting for 100, but definitely he have enough for the knockout versus that Tauros on the bench. Alright, that was a very nice play, no question. 10 damage, 10 damage for Tapu Lele. Actually, the game is over. The game is over, because right now I have that double Course Energy, I have Guzma play, I'm hitting for 120, and between turns my opponent will take extra 10 damage, and this is gonna be it. That was a very close game, but luckily I also pulled a Choice Band, so I can simply Mad Bull GX him for 150, and that's enough for the knockout, and that is a GG, my friends. So that game was actually very close, but at the end Tauros-GX Mad Bull GX showed how powerful that attack was, and that is a game.